No, sir. So far, what we have shown is offline. To do this, you have to sync at least once.
Distance no longer a challenge. Nigeria accepts India's offer on e-learning in primary and secondary schools.
We are moving steadily towards the global target of eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV, syphilis and hepatitis by 2030.
World AIDS Day, a journey of progress for Nigeria. Federal government stands firm on 2030 deadline.
Women will always ensure enforcement. Women will always deliver in leadership. Women will always want to ensure that whatever they do, they get it right. Women are hardworking, they are very, proactive.
70 years of bravery, struggles and the rise of the Nigerian police women. Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komi Akere. And on the business news segment, Musa Abaka will be our guide. Musa, what's the latest in the world of business?
Nigeria's third quarter GDP growth slows to 3.98%.
Many thanks, Musa. And of course, Ayodeji Makinde will be keeping us up to speed in the world of sports. Ayodeji, what do you have for us?
Well, all is set for the Nigeria Volleyball Premier League, which serves off in Abuja. That will be on Tuesday.
All right, many thanks, Ayodeji. Remember, you can watch these broadcasts live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. The Northern Governors Forum has resolved to establish a regional security trust fund to effectively tackle insecurity, with each state contributing 1 billion naira monthly. Muhammad Umar Jingi reports that the forum also recommends a 6-month suspension of illegal mining activities, having identified that it is fueling insecurity in the region.
The 19 northern states governors, together with traditional rulers led by the Sultan of Sokoto, are arriving for a meeting to address key challenges in the region. The meeting focuses on insecurity, the rising number of out-of-school children, poverty, and the need to strengthen good governance across the region.
We must once again commend His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his strong leadership and steadfast commitment to Nigeria's security, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. We hereby affirm our collective resolve to work closely with the federal government.
Kindly permit me to reiterate the imperative of state police. Nigeria's centralized policing model can no longer meet the demands. As we begin our deliberation today, I urge us to speak frankly.
And I believe as leaders, we need to really come up, as the governor of Gombe said, honestly, tell ourselves the truth. But I want to assure you, Excellency, the governors, we are 100% with you in this drive.
It is expected that at the end of their meeting, they will identify a sustainable and long-lasting solutions to the security threats and other developmental challenges confronting the region. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Murajingi, NTA News.
Now, away from regional security to education, the federal government has welcomed the offer by Schoolnet India to partner with private sector entities to implement its Kian Smart Class solutions in Nigerian schools. Vice President Kashim Shettima made the commitment when he received a team from Schoolnet India Limited and LearnNet Skills Limited at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Primarily, irrespective of what color of the wall, any wall becomes a smart board.
The project aims to digitally transform education by introducing interactive smart boards and digital contents to improve learning outcomes, and will be very beneficial to primary and secondary schools in Nigeria if domesticated with local content.
It cannot work offline.
No, sir. So far, what we have shown is offline. To do this, you have to sync at least once.
Vice President Kashim Shettima asked the Schoolnet Limited team to liaise with relevant officials of the federal government to deliberate on how to domesticate the learning package by integrating local content for Nigerian schools, recalling the use of Kian class solutions to teach students in Borno State while he was governor.
First feature, latest computer specs are there, sir. Next one, just show the audio video.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the SchoolNet India Limited, Mr. Reddy, said the company is highly inspired by the Nigerian government's vision to adopt technology in classrooms.
Apart from training the teachers, we will be working with the school systems for a period of 3 years to assess the impact in terms of what has been the benefit at the end of first year. If it is not being used by teachers, if they require more training, we will do more training. And second year, third year, at the end of 3 years, the solution would prove its effectiveness in contributing positively to improve the learning, teaching effectiveness inside the classrooms.
The SchoolNet MD promised to work closely with Nigerian officials to design an integrated solution suitable for Nigerian communities. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
And away from education, let's head to the maritime sector, where Nigeria has reaffirmed its commitment to constructive global maritime engagement following its election into Category C of the International Maritime Organization (IMO) Council. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy Adegboyega Oyetola stepped these at an appreciation lunch for IMO delegates in London, hosted by Nigeria, emphasizing that the country's return to the IMO Council reflects a renewed vote of confidence in Nigeria's role within the international maritime system. The minister described the election as both a privilege and a weighty responsibility and commended the Secretary General of IMO, Mr. Arsenio Dominguez, and his team for their professionalism and steadfast commitment to maritime development. In talking agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, wants increased investment in Nigeria's agricultural and food systems. He made the appeal while hosting a delegation from the Investment Center of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
Representatives from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations Investment Center are currently in Nigeria and visited the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Discussion focused on attracting investment into Nigeria's agribusiness sector to drive sustainable economic growth.
But we'll use this mission, and we are supporting them under the technical viewpoint in order to identify where they could potentially explore opportunities.
So from beginning to the end,
several investors showcased their expertise and capabilities in modern farming and agro-processing.
And we only be producing about 60 metric tons per day, whereas we have about 300 metric tons demand locally.
We need, like in terms of machinery, in terms of irrigation, in terms of equipment.
In the next few days, the team will be meeting with a section of the Nigeria private sector within the agri-food system, looking at various commodities and value chains, and then try to see how certain models could be designed to support direct investment.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to creating an enabling environment for agribusiness to thrive across the country.
Actually, in tandem with the directive given to us by the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCMR, has mandated us to take full responsibility for the food systems and to build a pathway towards true food sovereignty. And this is exactly what we are doing.
The FAO, through its investment center, maintain a long-standing and strategic partnership with Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And from the National Assembly, the House of Representatives says it is working with Senate to expand the legal framework for small and medium enterprises to thrive in the country. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu disclosed these at a one-day entrepreneurial summit organized by the House of Representatives for youth groups. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikpen reports.
The Enterprise Nexus Summit is the second direct engagement between the House and youth groups this year, aimed at strengthening local enterprise through policy support and access. Declaring the summit open on behalf of Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu enjoins SMEs to leverage on Senate's recent amendment to the Exim Bank Act of 1991, saying it uncovers a multi-billion-dollar window for small-scale exports.
The House is currently carrying our legislative action on the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Support Bill 2025, which proposes a national framework for innovation hub, tax breaks for tech startup, and partnership with private sector.
The House has consistently given several attention to youth-related issues, from budgeting to programs and policy direction.
Entrepreneurs need to also stand to what the ecosystem of today is all about.
We face things like unpredictable policies, multiple taxation, unclear compliance guidelines, regulatory processes designed for big companies, not founders, and limited access to funding.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has called for a comprehensive forensic audit of midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund from 2021 to date. The committee, chaired by Representative Bamidele Salam, raised concerns over alleged misapplication of the fund, which is managed by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The committee has asked the Auditor General of the Federation to report back on the investigation within 60 days. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Now talking health, if the target of eliminating HIV/AIDS by year 2030 must be met, Nigeria must resist the temptation of being carried away by its recent progress against the epidemic, but stay the course by sustaining advocacy, promoting domestic resource mobilization, and taking a firm stand against stigmatization. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu said this in a keynote address at the 2025 World AIDS Day celebration organized by the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
In spite of its high burden of HIV/AIDS, Nigeria has acquitted itself well, scaling up prevention, treatment, and care of the epidemic, even in the face of dwindling donor funding, policy shifts, and uncertainties.
Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria is on its way to eliminating HIV/AIDS as a public health threat.
Among many other gains, the 46% decline in new HIV infection recorded in the last decade was celebrated by stakeholders who gathered to mark this year's World AIDS Day under the banner of National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA.
I dare say,
for a woman who has been in the trenches, building coalition and mobilizing resources to fight new cases of HIV infection with the Free to Shine Triple Elimination Campaign, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu is happy about the emerging figures, but wants more to be done.
We are moving steadily towards the global target of eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis by 2030 through efficient use of resources and integrated healthcare services for women and children. As global funding patterns shift, we must ensure sustainability to prevent disruption of critical services. The federal government, as you have heard, has proactively approved the disbursement of $200 million to support HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria program. As we move forward, I call on all Nigerians to support the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in the commitment to achieving an HIV-free Nigeria by 2030. To our parents, guardians, and teachers, HIV/AIDS is no longer a disease of shame, but should be brought to the table for discussion. To our young people, I encourage you to take responsibility for your health, get tested, and know your status. To our communities, let us foster a culture of love, acceptance, and support for people living with HIV.
Her commitment to the campaign against HIV/AIDS was recognized with an award at the ceremony. From the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
And now let's head to the aviation sector, where Nigeria marks 100 years of aviation, tracing back to 1925 when the first aircraft landed in Kano City. And the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to building a more resilient, secure and globally competitive aviation sector. Aliu Kabir reports.
Nigeria's aviation journey began in 1925 when a Royal Air Force aircraft touched down in Kano, the first recorded aircraft landing on Nigerian soil. By the late 1920 and early 1930, basic airfields have been established in Lagos, Kaduna, Maiduguri, and other key locations. Today, the country boasts about 30 airports serving both domestic and international routes, all equipped with modern state-of-the-art facilities to support growing passenger and cargo demand. The centenary celebration brought together a wide range of stakeholders from domestic and international airlines to aviation agencies, airport authorities, ground handling companies, private sector operators, development partners, and industry experts. The minister says this centenary is a call to action. It allows to reflect on the achievement and to build on a safer, more connected and internationally competitive aviation sector.
But this 100 years is a watershed in our journey in this country as the aviation sector.
According to the minister, the focus is to position the country for renewed growth and stronger global engagement.
We mark today as a day that we can only continue to go up, we won't come down again.
A major highlight of the event was the honoring of important individuals as legends. A major highlight of the event was honoring of important individuals as legends of aviation. These include pioneers, engineers, pilots, aircraft controllers, and industry builders whose dedication shaped the foundation of Nigeria's aviation sector. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
And away from the aviation sector, a delegation from the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria has expressed a strong interest in understanding the underlying drivers of the crisis and support initiatives to mitigate conflict and foster social harmony in the country. The U.S. delegation, led by Deputy Political Counselor Diana Ponquin, accompanied by the embassy's Human Rights Officer Dave Young, gave the affirmation of support when it paid a courtesy call on the President Tinubu's Senior Special Assistant on Community Engagement, the North Central, Dr. Abiodun Isiet. The meeting centered on the President's ongoing community engagement initiatives coordinated through the host official's office to promote peace and strengthen social cohesion across the Middle Belt. Both sides underscored the urgent need for enhanced collaboration to address the persistent security challenges affecting communities in the region. You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return. Do stay with us. Glad to know you're still there. Now, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum of Borno State has met with the leadership of the Jamaat al-Nasr Islam and Christian Association of Nigeria, reiterating the call for unity and peaceful coexistence among adherents of the major faiths as authorities battle to regain the state's lost glory. Mohammed Goni reports.
Governor Zulum described the family bond transcending religious labels as the state's strength and reality, calling on all citizens to collectively dispel all false narratives that seeks to portray the security crisis in a religious coloration.
Borno State not only strategically positioned geographically, but also has a unique and beautiful family composition dynamics. It is common to find under one roof brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts who profess different faiths.
The governor said the perpetrators of violence have killed, maimed, and displaced Muslims and Christians alike, destroyed mosques and churches with equal impunity, pointing out that the tragedy binds the people in a common grief and demands a united response.
The Borno State government from 2011 to date has reconstructed 45 Christian worship centers that were destroyed during the Boko Haram insurgency. This number includes 16 from Hawun, 11 from Goza, 10 from Askira and 8 from Chibok.
Leader of the Jamaatul Nasrul Islam delegation, Sheikh Jafar Saad Ngamdu, and the state chairman of Khan, Reverend John Bakini, aligned themselves with the governor's position on the need for peaceful coexistence, which has been the norm in Borno. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Now, a high-powered group, Renewed Hope Ambassadors, has been formally inaugurated with the mandate of driving impacts of the policy reforms of the present administration in the 774 local government areas of the country. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that the chairman, Progressive Governors Forum, and governor of Imo State is the helmsman for the national assignment.
It is another period of government engaging its citizens, and this time around, the ball rolls on the court of these eminent personalities who have served and still serving the nation with vigor and enjoying widespread influence across geopolitical spread. Now, timelines and borders intersect with the intention to carry out the sole mandate of taking the crusade of the Renewed Hope mantra with clarity to every corner of Nigeria against misunderstanding of the progress achieved. The Renewed Hope Ambassador Hope Uzodinma is at the center of the national assignment and addressed journalists immediately after a closed-door session that lasted several hours.
Now, the message is that those who thought that Mr. President has no agenda have seen that the Renewed Hope agenda is working. And now some of them have decided to overtly or covertly create what I can call a synchronized national crisis in the name of insecurity. Going to group people, to attack schools, to attack churches, is a bad style of politics. So we are rising to condemn that type of politics and calling on Mr. President that all the governors of the 36 states of the Federation are queuing behind him in unity to support him to restore normalcy and treat this monster called insecurity.
As a first step measure, Renewed Hope Ambassadors acknowledged receipt of Toyota Prados and buses ready for the mission ahead, and delivering the message of hope in a nation of prosperity is a task that will stimulate the conscience of Nigeria in a land of hope. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Now, President Bola Tinubu congratulates statesman, academician and politician Professor Jerry Gana on his 80th birthday. President Tinubu acknowledges Professor Gana's decades of active service in Nigeria's socio-political landscape, having served as a two-time Minister of Information, Culture and National Orientation under different administrations, as a Director of Mass Mobilization for Social Justice and Economic Recovery, MAMSA, under the Ibrahim Babangida administration. The President praised that God grants the fine gentleman, a prolific communicator, a mass mobilizer and a passionate patriot, blessed with gift of oratory, more years of good health and a sound mind. Meanwhile, Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris celebrates Professor Jerry Gana on his 80th birthday, describing him as an exceptional statesman, scholar and patriot. The minister in a statement says the celebrant's life story is one of uncommon dedication to national development, outstanding public service and unwavering integrity. He adds that as a former Minister of Information and Culture, Professor Gana laid foundations that continue to shape the communication and public enlightenment landscape. The minister is optimistic that the launch of his new book, Jerry Gana, Stewardship and Integrity, is not only a celebration of his legacy, but a valuable resource for scholars, policymakers, and young Nigerians seeking models of ethical leadership and responsible stewardship. The presidency has made it clear that to permanently secure the citizens of Nigeria, the architecture of the country's security must be reformed to strengthen the local security network through the establishment of state police to complement the efforts of national forces. President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Minister of Information and National Orientation at the 10th Memorial Anniversary celebration of former Kogi State Governor Prince Abubakar Audu, says the security and welfare of every Nigerian remains the secret priority of his administration. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Lokoja, the confluence city, was a place of convergence by friends, family, and political associates of the first democratically elected governor of Kogi State, Prince Abubakar Audu, who died 10 years ago. But the people of the state believe he still lives on through his legacies.
The stretch of road from Canada Junction to Canada Roundabout to the riverbank shall be named and known as the Prince Abubakar Audu Boulevard.
Audu contributed immensely to the development of Benue State.
Your support and encouragement reaffirm our shared commitment to building a more prosperous Kogi State and a stronger Nigeria.
You must be thinking of the legacy you leave behind. Don't just wait till when you are gone.
President Bola Tinubu was among the people who paid tribute to the fallen hero with the promise to deliver more dividends of democracy and sustained support to the state governments.
Prince Audu understood that democracy is not only as strong as the prosperity of its people, it is also as strong in the security and the well-being of the same people. Prince Audu was a builder, and in that spirit, my administration has embarked on a national project of rebuilding and renewing our nation, anchored on several critical pillars.
The federal government's intervention across agriculture, economy, education, and youth empowerment, the president assured to serve the people with integrity.
The security and welfare of every Nigerian citizen remain the sacred priority of my government. We have therefore taken decisive action. Remember Prince Abubakar Audu today. Let us not only reflect on the past, but also let us recommit ourselves to the future that he has helped to envision. A future of a united, prosperous, and secure Nigeria, where democracy delivers on its promise for all citizens.
A book, Prince Abubakar Audu, A Legacy of Visionary Leadership, was presented, and the Prince Abubakar Audu Leadership Foundation unveiled in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now let's take a breather here in Abuja and head straight to the Center of Excellence where Adeola Komiakere is standing by with stories making the rounds. Good evening, Adeola. Take it up from here.
Lajide, the Nigerian army has once again demonstrated its commitment to the protection and general well-being of the society. This came to the fore during the two-day community service carried out by officers of the Nigerian Army Headquarters 81 Division through 65 Battalion Boni Cantonment, an initiative of a General Officer commanding 81 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Farouk Mijinyawa. Lynn Leneke completes the story.
Offering free healthcare services, health education and support to residents of Lagos State is the military's way of consolidating on already existing civil-military relations. The free medical care, an initiative of the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Farouk Mijinyawa, is aimed at strengthening the synergy between the community and the army for collective action in addressing contemporary health challenges within a joint environment, while engaging in the general cleaning of the area.
Not everybody knows what is going on in their body, but now that we are here, we know what is going on. We know when they are doing the checkup, everything will be all right.
Not even the medical outreach, they also like doing sanitation and all that all over the stadium. I think is very impressive.
Similarly, the train moved to Surulere local government area where residents took advantage of the free medical care, describing the exercise as a game changer.
Nigerian Army came up with this outrageous benevolence to take care of, like, it's just like giving back to the masses. I'm really grateful.
When they do things like this, it gives us the leverage to associate with them and know that they are very free people as well.
According to the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Farouk Mijinyawa, the outreach will further strengthen the relationship between the Army and the host community, emphasizing that the outreach was part of the Army's corporate social responsibility. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Caverton Marine, a subsidiary of Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC, is leading innovation in the water transportation industry with the latest manufacture of the first 100% electric boat in Africa, created to reduce carbon emissions and ensure a safe and efficient transport system. This was emphasized by the Chief Executive Officer of Caverton Offshore Group, Olabode Makonjola, who says the 100% electric ferries were made in collaboration with the Chinese company Exploma in Lagos. Amaka Owo reports.
Thank you for inviting.
Caverton Marine, a subsidiary of the Caverton Offshore Support Group, continues to reposition Nigeria in the area of water transportation by providing modernized homegrown solutions. This time, the company has produced Nigeria's first locally made 30-seater electric passenger ferry. These electric boats operate along Lagos inland waterways.
We needed to actually raise the bar for water transportation and actually now see how we can provide better, more sort of world standard water transportation.
Some key features of the Caverton electric boats are zero carbon emissions, contributing to a cleaner atmosphere and reduced operational costs. Its electric systems eliminate fuel consumption and significantly enhances passenger experience.
Basically, it's like a coastal, like a jetty power bank. Right, let's just give it an idea, like a big power bank where it taps energy from the sun when the sun is available, stores the energy, and the boats can dock and recharge.
The country and the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy start to advocate when the Honorable Minister came in, is to be able to gradually move from rickety wooden boat into a more sustainable and more stable fiber-reinforced plastic boat.
Beyond just the money, it also gives opportunity to be able to work on the maintenance.
To build this boat, actually, we are very honored to working with Mr. Boulder Captain and have opportunity to build this first electric ferry in the world.
The Omnibus ferries, the management of Caverton says, offers a faster alternative to the city's congested road networks and helping to modernize public water transportation. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. The network news will continue in Abuja after this time out.
Thanks for being there. Now let's quickly walk you through 70 years of women in policing. And history walked proudly through the streets of Abuja as female officers of the Nigeria Police Force commemorated 70 years of women serving in the force with a symbolic anniversary work. Francis Form was part of the walk and now reports.
The procession moved from the force headquarters to Bullet House Junction, then advanced toward the Finance Bridge, passing in front of the Ministry of Finance. The commemorative walk continued to the junction by the main NTA gate, where participants made a symbolic turn, retracing their steps back to the force headquarters, signifying not just a physical journey through Abuja's landmarks, but a reflective journey through time, from the first 20 pioneering women enlisted in the 1950s to the thousands of female officers now serving across all cadres of the Nigeria Police Force.
Security agencies are not confined to only male officers or male folk, but the female are also supposed to come in and contribute their quota towards the progress of the country.
The Inspector General of Police has made history as the first Inspector General of Police to recognize and celebrate the contribution of women in national security.
Women will always ensure enforcement. Women will always deliver in leadership. Women will always want to ensure that whatever they do, they get it right. Women are hardworking, they are very, proactive. and they try to get the desired results.
But what I can tell you that I've seen so far is certainly lots of commitment by the women here in this organization, commitment, dedication, and lots of discipline.
The walk is part of a series of activities lined up by the force to honor the courage, sacrifices, and enduring contributions of female police officers, past and present, in strengthening national security. Francis from NTA News.
Now let's join Musa Abubakar for the business news segment. Musa?
Thank you, Olajide. Nigeria's economy slowed in the third quarter of 2025, growing by 3.98% year-on-year. Data released by the National Bureau of Statistics says that the slowdown from 4.23% in the previous quarter reflects the combined effects of high inflation and tight monetary policy, which have weighed on overall economic activity. Growth in services, agriculture, and rising oil production helped support the economy in July to September. The oil sector grew 5.84%, driven by an average daily output of 1.64 million barrels per day, up from 1.47 million barrels per day in the same quarter last year. However, oil's contribution to the GDP fell to 3.44%, highlighting Nigeria's increasing reliance on non-oil sectors. The non-oil economy expanded 3.91%, led by 4.15% growth in services and industry, and 3.77% in agriculture, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Nigeria's equities market closed on a negative note today as the all-share index slipped to 143,210.33 points. The downturn reflects renewed caution among investors amid lingering economic pressures and weak market sentiment. Trading activity was relatively muted, with 28,956 deals recorded as investors exchanged 1.46 billion units of shares. Despite the high volume, the total transaction value stood at 18.67 billion naira, signaling a shift toward lower price equities and profit taking across several key sectors. Market capitalization also declined, settling at 91.09 trillion naira. Analysts say the pullback suggests growing uncertainty in the market, warning that continued sell-offs could weigh on performance in the days ahead unless confidence is restored. That concludes business news. Olajide is back to you.
Many thanks, Musa. And let's go straight and talk about repatriation of cultural heritage products of Africans, where ministers from ECOWAS member states have agreed on a joint plan to repatriate products of African Arts and Culture Festival EcoFest in Dakar, Senegal. Let's join Kelvin Ehonwaye as he brings this report.
The Ministerial Forum held on the eve of the official launch of the 2025 West African Arts and Cultural Festival EcoFest. The session followed technical deliberations by cultural experts from member states who presented recommendations on heritage restitution processes across the region. The ministers reviewed and endorsed proposals covering thematic areas, including the implementation of the ECOWAS Action Plan 2027 to 2031 for the return of cultural property, the progress made by member states, and the persistent challenges hampering restitution efforts.
So my committee, ECOWAS Committee on Reparation, has been talking about how the gap between what we do as a committee, what academia is doing, and what the other stakeholders are doing, which it doesn't really draw in the youth. So we've been nursing this idea for so many years now, and finally it has been birthed.
Then came the curtain raiser on EcoFest 2025. An initiative of ECOWAS and NOEMOAL, EcoFest is poised to become a landmark event on Africa's cultural calendar, fostering a robust foundation for regional integration and creative growth. By celebrating West Africa's rich cultural diversity, EcoFest aims to promote social cohesion across the sub-region. In Dakar, Senegal, Kelvin Ehonwaye, NTA News.
Now, another break beckons. The news continues in a moment. Do stay with us.
All right, you're welcome to sports. The final phase of Nigeria Volleyball Premier League spikes off in Abuja from December 2 to 14, with officials confirming enhanced financial support for participating teams. Now, subsidies have increased from 300,000 to 500,000 per team, alongside the release of 48 million naira for the season's budget to strengthen player welfare and overall competition standards. The Nigeria Volleyball Federation and the Nigeria Customs Service reaffirmed commitments to delivering a well-structured, professionally managed championship.
Say here and now that custom has come in to play a key role in taking us to that level.
The way the Controller General of Customs feels that players that are the main character that everybody comes to watch get the benefits of their sacrifices, of their passion, of their sweat, of the blood they put to represent each of their clubs and their teams.
In boxing, unified heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk has identified Deontay Wilder as his preferred opponent for his next fight. The 38-year-old Ukrainian secured victory over Londoner Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium in July, becoming the two-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And that's your sports. It's back to Olajide.
Many thanks, Ayodeji Makinde, and that is it on the Network News. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.